If you're a custodial supervisor at a local high school, you know that cleanliness is key, and that the best place to get cleaning supplies is from Grainger. Grainger helps you stay fully stocked on the products you trust, from paper towels and disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Plus, you can rely on Grainger for easy reordering, so you never run out of what you need. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
What's up, Buffalo Fanatics? Josh Allen here. Just wanted to say, go Bills.
Yo! What is up, Buffalo Fanatics? Z-Bot here with you. Live on Free Agency Monday. And that can only mean one thing. It is the Smoke Break brought to you by BetUS, where the game begins. Receive a 125% sign-up bonus, not only on your first deposit, but on your first 3 deposits with the promo code JOIN125 via the link in the description below. It is Free Agency Frenzy, folks. We're up and running. Free agency market's been open for about an hour and a half, and already some major moves have been made. Couple of which entail the Buffalo Bills. One of the major ones, one that we all saw coming, but is now a reality. Gabe Davis officially no longer a Buffalo Bill as of about 10-ish minutes ago. He is staying in the conference. He's going to a team that has been somewhat of a pain in the Bills' ass the last couple of seasons. Lost to him when they were coached by Urban Meyer. Lost to him last year in London. You know who I'm talking about, folks. The Jacksonville Jaguars have just signed Gabe Davis to a 3-year deal. And he is now officially no longer a Buffalo Bill. He will be joining the Jacksonville Jaguars and staying in the AFC. We also got to talk about Deion Dawkins. We got to talk about Dawson Knox. Got a lot going on, of course, today. It is the start of free agency. It is the gift that keeps on giving, the NFL is. It just never ends. And right when the season ends, you're just thinking, oh, my God, what the hell is next? Well, you know what's next. It's free agency. It's the draft. And a lot going on, of course, today as everything starts to kick off. And we await major moves from teams. Kirk Cousins, of course, still waiting to sign with a team. That's a big one. Baker Mayfield stays in Tampa Bay. That was another big quarterback out there that many people were eyeing in on to see where he would wind up going, but he stays in Tampa Bay. But, of course, we're more concerned about what's going on in Buffalo. And what's going on in Buffalo is the departure of Gabriel Davis. Via Ian Rappaport about 20-ish minutes ago now, Gabe Davis is officially no longer a Buffalo Bill. He is heading to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, we all knew that this was more than likely going to be the inevitability. Gabe Davis was not going to be a Buffalo Bill. When he put out that Instagram post, that video, it felt like it was a farewell. It felt like it was a tribute to Buffalo. A thank you for having me, and I'm on to my next chapter. We jumped on here the second that he wound up dropping that video. And that's exactly what I took away from it. The first time I saw it, I said, hey, Gabe Davis, he's gone, right? That's how we all kind of interpreted it. Not only did it seem like it was a farewell to Buffalo, but it also felt like it was more of an audition type post. It was like a resume. Hey, here's what I've done in Buffalo. If you remember, we go back to the post he put up on Instagram, and it was all of these accolades, I guess you could say, of his. It was all of these stats that he put up, these obscure stats that no one has ever heard of before. There was just a laundry list of them, followed by all of his highlights from Buffalo. And it just felt like with him obviously becoming a free agent, with the idea almost unanimously decided upon amongst Bills Mafia that he was no longer going to be around, it all kind of came together when he put that out there. So we've been living in the alternate reality that Gabe Davis wasn't going to be a Buffalo Bill, but today we are living in the actual reality that he is no longer a Buffalo Bill. So as it stands right now, Stephon Diggs, of course, still remains your wide receiver 1. Khalil Shakir now bumped into wide receiver 2, and as we well know, folks, the Buffalo Bills are very much in the wide receiver market. Your wide receiver 2, whether you thought he was or not, he was, is no longer a Buffalo Bill. These Buffalo Bills right now do not have a solidified wide receiver 2. And even though we've known this was going to be the reality, it does inevitably hit harder when it does become real. And when you sit here right now and you think to yourself, well, what's going on at One Bills Drive when it comes to the wide receiver locker room? Well, right now, as we know, not a whole hell of a lot. Now, things are going to get interesting, I think, because they have to. Gabe Davis is gone. You're not going to trot into the year with your wide receiver 2 option being a Khalil Shakir who started to come into his own last season. It's just not going to be the case. So we'll see what happens throughout the week here, maybe even today. Who knows what happens while we're even live here. Every time I feel like we're live, something goes crazy. But we'll see what ends up being the case, because something's got to come from this departure. Out with the old, in with the new. And Brandon Beane has been shuffling the deck all around the table, trying to get money around to potentially make a move. The Bills are no longer in cap hell. The Bills went from having the worst cap situation in the league to all of a sudden, who knows? Who knows what happens? One of the things that did happen earlier was that Dawson Knox restructured his contract. That was one of the things we were going to look out for as Bills fans. It was one of the things that felt inevitable. All of these moves that the Bills have made the last week, it all felt like it happened in one single chunk of time. We all knew that there were other moves to be made when it came to the salary cap, and the ones that we had been eyeing in on. Of course, Josh Allen, we'll see when that ends up happening. That seems all but inevitable at some point that Josh Allen will end up restructuring his contract. But we all zoomed in on the idea of Dawson Knox restructuring his, because we look at Dawson Knox now as probably the second option at tight end. I don't think you're going to find anybody out there who's thinking that he's tight end 1 right now over Dalton Kincaid. But they paid him as tight end 1 well prior to drafting Dalton Kincaid, and with the contract he had given to him, something had to give in order to justify the drafting of Dalton Kincaid and the money that was paid to Dawson Knox, in addition to, of course, the cap situation that the Bills were in. So let's go ahead and pull up Spot Track real quick. I want to go ahead and get an updated look here. Let's take by the way, my internet right now. Let me know if you can even see me. I know I think it's terrible right now. I was doing something for work, of course. It's tough to do work and this at the same time. I got an upload going for work. I think that's what's taking up all my crap. So sorry if the stream is like laggy or whatever. I've been pulling up the Spot Track situation here right now for Buffalo. By the way, the Dawson Knox move, of course, was not the only move today. Deion Dawkins extended, got a fat bag from Brandon Beane at One Bills Drive today. Shout out Deion Dawkins, one of my all-time faves, as you well know. He's not going anywhere. Gabe Davis might be gone, right? Jordan Poyer might be gone. All these guys leaving, right? But Deion Dawkins absolutely going nowhere. He signs it was a $60 million extension with the Buffalo Bills this afternoon. So the Bills haven't made a big splash yet or a big move yet, but they have made a couple of moves today. One was
re-signing Cam Lewis as well, by the way. Cam Lewis agreed to a deal with the Bills, 2 years, $4 million. And the contract situation for Gabe Davis, by the way, just came out via Bleacher Report. 3 years, up to $50 million. Looks like $39 million of it might be guaranteed here. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Former Bills wide receiver agrees to 3-year, $39 million deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Could be worth up to $50 million via Bleacher Report. Wow. Decent amount of money going to Gabe Davis. He was not getting $50 million from Buffalo, that's for sure. I mean, as we know. I mean, that just wasn't ever going to happen. Good for Gabe Davis. Good for Gabe Davis. You only get one opportunity to get these, these second contracts. These are where you make your most money, especially as a wide receiver. This is where the money comes in. And that is a lot of money for Gabe Davis. What are we looking at? About $17 million a year or so for Gabe Davis. Man. That's a bag. Jacksonville, Calvin Ridley, of course, a free agent. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Because they don't re-sign Calvin Ridley, at least not as of right now. Haven't given him an offer. And it's funny because I look at it as a Bills fan, and one of my, big wants, I guess you could say, the top of my wish list from free agency would have been Calvin Ridley. And you look at Jacksonville's situation, and you're thinking to yourself, well, they could have had what us Bills fans probably want. We had Gabe Davis, right? This is where it gets interesting to me. You're thinking in your mind, okay, Gabe Davis is not going to be a Buffalo Bill. I want Calvin Ridley. Jacksonville had Calvin Ridley. They could have made that same offer, I suppose, to Calvin Ridley that they made to Gabe Davis. No, that's not the case. They end up going with Gabriel Davis instead. Very interesting. Talk about Deion Dawkins real quick. As I mentioned earlier, here is the deal on Deion Dawkins. Like I said, around $60 million. It's a 3-year extension, $60.5 million for Deion Dawkins. Absolutely love it. Deion Dawkins not going anywhere. It's been the cornerstone for these Bills for a while on the offensive line. Well earned. A captain, Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee, one of the better players on this Bills offense, and has truly been the leader of this offensive line for some time now. I mean, he's been blocking for Josh Allen since the beginning. And we know it's been a rough journey to get to where the Bills have gotten to on the offensive line. This past year, bar none, was the best year that Josh Allen has probably had behind center when it comes to offensive line play. And, of course, Deion Dawkins has spearheaded that. He's been at the forefront of that for a long time. And he will continue to do so, obviously. 3-year extension for Deion Dawkins, $60.5 million. Speaking of that offensive line, speaking of Gabe Davis, speaking of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Mitch Morse signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars this morning. Let's pull that up. Let's see if we can get a look at what the deal was for that. Here we go, via Mike Garofalo. The Jaguars earlier today agreed to terms with center Mitch Morse on a 2-year, $10.5 million deal worth $7 million guaranteed. So within a couple of hours today, on a Monday afternoon at the beginning of free agency, Mitch Morse and Gabe Davis go from the Buffalo Bills to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Just like that. Just like that, the Jags are essentially becoming a Florida version of the Buffalo Bills in some odd way. Now, Jacksonville had a very odd year last year, as we know. Things started off hot. It looked like Jacksonville could be threatening for the 1 seed early on in the year. And all of a sudden, things took a nosedive. The Bills met Jacksonville in London. That's when Jacksonville was on their heater. It looked like they were playing some of the best ball in the league, certainly some of the best in the AFC. And then all of a sudden, you blinked, and the Jacksonville Jaguars were a no-show. Completely fell off the face of the earth. They went from, like I said, being one of the better teams in the league early in the season, falling off a cliff, not even making the playoffs. So They are obviously out here trying to improve. They not only went out and got Mitch Morse, got Gabe Davis, they have a new backup quarterback as well. I mean, Jacksonville Jaguars are making headlines all over the place, and they're just taking advantage of everything available, apparently, in the AFC East. If you haven't heard, the new backup quarterback for Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville, McCorkle Jones. Mac Jones traded from the New England Patriots yesterday to the Jacksonville Jaguars for, I believe, a 6th-round pick. He will now be the backup for Trevor Lawrence. So it is a thrift shop, so to speak, in the AFC East that the Jacksonville Jaguars have walked into and are throwing down the credit card. Mitch Morse, Gabe Davis, and Mac Jones. The Mac Jones situation, I don't know what to make of that. Backup quarterback's important. As we know, I'm glad the Bills made the move that they did for Mitch Trubisky. I think Mitch Trubisky, out of all the backup quarterbacks in the league that you would want in the situation that the Bills are in, to me, the choice would be Mitch Trubisky. He's the most similar to Josh Allen that you could find in a backup quarterback type role. And I think that's why you saw Brandon Beane pay him the type of money that he paid him. And I love that move because you know, based on this past season, that no team is safe when it comes to the quarterback position. All of a sudden, just like that, teams flip on a dime because of an injury at the quarterback position. We have been ungodly lucky with Josh Allen and these Buffalo Bills. Nobody has played more snaps since entering the league than Josh Allen at the quarterback position. I think he and Patrick Mahomes currently hold the record right now for most consecutive starts, or most starts since they've entered the league. So we've been blessed. But with that said, you can never be too safe at the backup quarterback position. Love what the Bills did in bringing in Mitch Trubisky. But the point I'm trying to make here is that apparently in Jacksonville, they felt like they needed to make an upgrade or make a move, I suppose. I don't know if it's an upgrade or what it is, but they felt like they had to make a move at the backup quarterback position in addition to all these other moves they're making. And Mac Jones goes from being a 1st-round pick, being the starting quarterback for the New England Patriots, to now backing up Trevor Lawrence. And he'll be in a position now where you wonder if he'll ever be a starting quarterback in this league again. The Jacksonville Jaguars making some significant headlines here in the last couple of days, and especially with our Buffalo Bills. A couple other things here as well. David Bakhtiari, longtime offensive lineman for the Green Bay Packers. He is no longer with the Green Bay Packers. That's a big move if you're a Green Bay Packer fan. That's over a decade he spent there. He's no longer a Packer. Tony Pollard signs with the Titans. Now, speaking of the running back market and the NFC East, there are rumors circulating that Saquon Barkley to the Eagles is heating up. So keep an eye on that. That is awfully interesting to me. Couldn't imagine Saquon being drafted by the Giants just to end up going to the Eagles in free agency, but that apparently is something to keep an eye on right now. But anyway, the Buffalo Bills, what's going to happen? What is going to happen with these Bills at the wide receiver position? That's the big question. The Bills now have, I feel, 2 looming needs as free agency kicks off and as the draft nears about a month and a half or so away. And that, of course, is the secondary and the wide receiver position. Both of those positions have found themselves losing starters early on here in free agency, early on here in the offseason. And there are also 2 areas that needed to be upgraded to begin with. But now that you have the departure of Jordan Poyer, right? Now that you have the departure of Gabe Davis, now that it's become real, it's when you really start to think about it even more. It's when it really starts to sink in, really starts to hit home. Man, moves are going to have to be made. It's going to be interesting to see just how different this Buffalo Bills team looks in a variety of different areas going into the 2024 season. But obviously, wide receiver, that's the big glamour, sexy position. And now you just have to sit here and wonder, as we all do here as Bills fans, you sit here and wonder, who are the Bills going to be trotting out alongside Stephon Diggs week 1 of the NFL season? I have no idea. I don't know if the plan is to go and find somebody here in free agency, whether that be somebody on the cheap, whether that be a Calvin Ridley, who knows? Who the hell knows? But you have to think that the priority in figuring out that position is going to be addressed in the draft. That's just how I see it. I don't think there's anybody out there right now in free agency that you feel like will be a sufficient upgrade to the future of these Buffalo Bills. Maybe a Band-Aid for this coming season. We'll see what happens. But the Bills need longevity at that position. Because Stephon Diggs isn't getting any younger. And right now, the core of your offense is a second-year tight end, a second-year receiver who's coming into his own, a third-year running back coming into his own. I mean, if it were, this is why Josh Allen, the shit that he gets never makes any sense to me. If it's not for Josh Allen, I mean, think about what the Bills are trotting out. If they didn't have Josh Allen, think about what you would think of this Bills offense as it stands. You're not worried necessarily about the way things currently sit because you know that you have Josh Allen. Imagine if you didn't. Because if you didn't, it would not be threatening to anybody. The Bills have got to find a way to make Josh Allen more threatening. And the only way you can really do that is if you continue to add around him. They have to do that now. It's not even a matter of wanting to do it at this point. It is an absolute necessity. Just trying to keep tabs on all that's happening. By the way, sticking in the AFC East, another big move. Christian Wilkins, defensive tackle for the Miami Dolphins, is leaving the AFC East. We will not have to deal with Christian Wilkins twice a year any longer. He got an absolute bag from the Las Vegas Raiders. 4-year deal worth up to $110 million via Ian Rappaport, including $84.75 guaranteed. Major move for the Las Vegas Raiders, going heavy on defense. And now you think about the addition of Christian Wilkins with Max Crosby. Mason Crosby. Imagine Mason Crosby lining up in the defensive line. You got Max Crosby now lining up with Christian Wilkins. Interesting, because I don't even think the Raiders, as it stands right now, know who the hell is going to be playing quarterback for them going into this coming season. But they're looking pretty stout on the defensive line as it stands right now. That's for sure. But the Bills do not have to face off against Christian Wilkins twice a year any longer. No longer a Miami Dolphin. Big blow for the Miami Dolphins defense, as Christian Wilkins has departed Miami, heading to Las Vegas. $110 million deal with the Las Vegas Raiders. That is an absolute bag for Wilkins. Give me your thoughts in the comments, by the way, as everybody continues to pile in here. We're about 2 hours into free agency. The Bills have not made a move yet as far as additions, but subtractions have already happened. And Gabe Davis being one of them, it did not take long. We knew Gabe Davis was going to be on the block, and it took about an hour into free agency for him to no longer be a Buffalo Bill. Let's go ahead and dive deeper into that deal, by the way. $50 million for Gabe Davis in Jacksonville. It's just interesting to me, the move with Calvin Ridley looming out there. Clearly, Jacksonville felt Gabe Davis upgrade. So now you got Gabe Davis catching the ball from Trevor Lawrence. He'll go from Josh Allen to Trevor Lawrence. And everybody in the comment section here is basically looking at it and thinking, wow, $50 million for Gabe. That seems to be the general consensus. Everybody's looking at this, scratching their head, saying, man, 50 mil? 50 large for number 13. Like I said, let me just be the first to say it. Congrats to Gabe Davis. That was not coming his way in Buffalo. 50 mil was not coming his way in Buffalo. And you go to a state with no tax, right? 50 mil is going to be looking pretty damn good in Jacksonville. I forget, by the way, did the Bills take on Jacksonville this year with the addition now of Mitch Morse and now Gabe Davis? Let's go take a look at that schedule, by the way, the opponents. Yep, they do. The Bills have Jacksonville at home this year. So I'm starting to think that we might see a primetime game in Buffalo just because why not? It would be a good game. It always seems to be a good game regardless, but now you have a little more there. You got Gabe Davis returning to Buffalo. You got Mitch Morris returning to Buffalo. Keep your eye on the Jacksonville Jaguars coming to Buffalo, potentially being a primetime game for these Buffalo Bills, as they will be hosting Jacksonville yet again this year. Now, I don't know if you look at those additions, and I don't know if the execs over at the NFL are saying, man, we got to make that primetime because of Gabe Davis and Mitch Morris, but it just seems like it might be a primetime game in itself to begin with. Yeah, everybody knows you go into these games. Everybody loves a good storyline. These would be your storylines, right? These would be the little tidbits that you get into. And I don't know. I mean, you got Mitch Morse, of course, leaving the Bills. That was huge in itself. Now he's on that team. You add Gabe Davis into the mix, and they're going to come back to Buffalo this year to face off against these Bills. Take a look at your comments. Let's see how you guys are feeling. Nick saying way overpaid is Gabe Davis. Way overpaid, he's saying, in Jacksonville. Bill Nick saying 50 million with a bunch of laughing emojis. Not Jake saying 50 million is wild. I mean, that seems to be the consensus. Rico coming in saying, don't let it be forgotten, he's joining former wide receiver coach Chad Hall. Nothing getting past Rico on a Monday afternoon. Pull-out king. He's saying his contract is for every drop or game with 3 or less catches. His money goes down. So really, it's only 25 mil. Look at D-Rowley's making a good point here. He's saying Gabe could be scary, though. We've talked about this. Gabe Davis, when he was on. When Gabe Davis was clicking, when they got Gabe Davis heavily involved, when he was on his A game, he was a threat. There's no question about it. When Gabe Davis had his moments were bright. So if he's utilized in a different way, right? If he's brought into a Jacksonville team where they're going to focus on him more than maybe the Buffalo Bills did, who's to say it doesn't end up being a very significant move for these Buffalo Bills? Or excuse me, for these Jacksonville Jaguars. Man, Jacksonville is just not, there's no quit in Jacksonville today. Ian Rappaport 2 minutes ago, the Jaguars aren't done. Sources say they are signing Packers safety Darnell Savage to a 3-year deal. So within the last couple of days, you got Gabe Davis, Darnell Savage, Mitch Morse, and Mac Jones. Leppy saying, right, this dude on Twitter saying, perfect receiver for Mac Jones to practice with. Sal Pal. See, this is what we were just talking about. I mean, okay. Via Sal Capaccio, we were just talking about this. And Sal's got it for you right here in black and white. You can look at it for yourself. You can read it on the screen. Okay? We were just talking about Gabe Davis departing this team and what the Bills are trotting out on the field in 2024 if the season were to start today. Take a look. This is your current wide receiver room for the Buffalo Bills. Stephon Diggs, Khalil Shakir, and you look at the rest of that list, and I'm telling you right now, 70% of Bills fans start forgetting who you're talking about when you get down to probably Tyrell Shea. Maybe when you get down to Justin Shorter, honestly. Let's be real. Let's be honest with ourselves. If you were to survey 70% of the Buffalo Bills fan base, or if you were to survey the Buffalo Bills fan base, 70% are going to be able to name you they're going to be able to name you 2 guys on this list. They're going to be able to name you 2 wide receivers for the Bills right now. Diggs and Shakir. Because that's essentially where it stops. Justin Shorter, Andy Isabella, Tyrell Shavers, Brian Thompson, KJ Hamler. That is your wide receiver room. In addition to Khalil Shakir and Stephon Diggs. I mean, what is going to be the move for Brandon Beane? I mean, take a look at that. Just stare at that list, folks. Boy, oh boy, oh boy! I'm insanely excited for this draft, but I'm insanely anxious. I'm insanely nervous. This, to me, this is the biggest draft of Brandon Beane's career. How could it not be? This is where the future is going to start for these Buffalo Bills. The longevity, right? The future, the depth, what we're going to be looking at 3, 4, 5 years, maybe longer down the road. It all is going to start this year. They have absolutely, unequivocally got to hit on a wide receiver in this draft. If they don't, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'm staring at this list right now. And like I said, if Josh Allen isn't on this team, let's just think of any other example. Right? I mean, let's even think of the Miami Dolphins. Let's just think of the Miami Dolphins, a team that is not, in my opinion, great, but certainly a good football team. If the Miami Dolphins with Tua Tagovailoa were to trot out on the field with that offensive locker room, with that offensive wide receiver locker room, how would you feel as a Bills fan facing that twice a year? That just speaks to what Josh Allen imposes on this league. But you can only go so far on the sheer will, raw ability of Josh Allen. Because this current wide receiver room, as it stands right now, is about as bare bones as it can possibly get in this league. Man, one last time, via Sal Capaccio, here is the list. Here is the current wide receiver room for the Buffalo Bills. Man, oh man, oh man. So I got Spot Track up, by the way. Now I don't know. This can't be completely updated, but we'll just take a look at it regardless because it's got a couple of the recent moves for these Bills. But I don't know if it's factored in Dawson Knox yet. I don't know if it's factored in Von Miller's restructuring yet. But let's take a look at what Brandon Beane's done in general, by the way. It seems like what Brandon Beane has done. My buddy texted me earlier. He goes, "What's the move with the Bills? What are they doing?" And I'm thinking to myself, because my buddy was asking me earlier, the Bills are going to trade up. And as we know, the Bills they're susceptible to trading up. Now, they aren't going to probably trade up anywhere crazy significant. But we know the Bills will move up a couple of spots if they need to, if they want to. If they feel like it's really necessary, they will certainly do it. But it seems like Brandon Beane has now gone beyond getting out of a bad cap situation and starting to veer into, can we make something happen situation. You were able to really luck out in getting Von Miller to restructure his deal. That did not have to happen, and it did. That was huge. You restructure Von Miller's deal, right? They're going to restructure Josh Allen. They do restructure Dawson Knox. Now, this doesn't, I can't tell. I can't tell if this is updated with Dawson Knox yet. Doesn't look like it. It might be. Spot Track currently has him $12 million over the cap right now, $12.5 million. But I don't think that takes into consideration yet Von Miller, Dawson Knox, Nyheim Hines perhaps might not be considered in that yet. But it feels like you get rid of Jordan Poyer, you're going to restructure Josh Allen, you restructured Von Miller, you restructured Dawson Knox, you move on from Mitch Morse, you're not paying Gabe Davis. It feels like you're moving into more make a move type territory now. What that move is, however, I couldn't tell you. There's not a wide receiver out there that you're pounding the table for. Now, T. Higgins announced earlier from the Cincinnati Bengals he's going to be looking for a new team, potentially. I doubt that happens, but outside of that, right? I mean, where like we were just talking about earlier with the situation with Gabriel Davis. Calvin Ridley would be the swap, in my opinion. And it's not like you're going to bring Calvin Ridley in and all of a sudden, boom, it's night and day. Now, it would be significantly better. You bring Calvin Ridley in, the locker room gets significantly better. But it's not night and day. It's just a significant upgrade to what it currently is. But you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they look at it, and they tell you with their checkbook, we find Gabriel Davis to be more worthy of an investment than Calvin Ridley. This just in, by the way, via Ian Rappaport, the Packers are signing former running back from the Las Vegas Raiders, Josh Jacobs. So he is heading to Green Bay. That's a significant move, a big move. Green Bay has worked with Aaron Jones on a new deal, and they were in the market for a running back, now one of the best out there. That is a very big move for the Green Bay Packers. So Josh Jacobs leaving the AFC and heading to the NFC with the Green Bay Packers with a young Jordan Love and a really good, young, upcoming offense under Matt LaFleur. Packers are going to be good in a couple of years. Real good. Nick saying it's just a lateral move with Ridley. Yeah, it is. Except right now, the Bills, a lateral move is still a move right now. Think about it like that. I understand what you're saying completely. It's just a lateral move with Ridley. I completely agree. But as it stands right now, the Bills, a lateral move is still, it's a slightly lateral move forward. It's like a slanted lateral move. It's a lateral move on like a 45-degree angle. Because the Bills right now took a step back losing Gabe Davis. I know everybody out there doesn't love him. But it was still your wide receiver too. It was still your second best wide receiver. Or at least it was supposed to be. At least that's what it was on paper. You don't have that now. Khalil Shakir is not your wide receiver too. Now, I have no problem with that. I have no problem with Khalil Shakir being focused in on this offense. When he got the ball thrown to him last year, man, took advantage of it. But I don't think anybody's sitting out there feeling overly confident if you trot into the season this year. With that staying pat, with that staying put, with Khalil Shakir being wide receiver too. So a lateral move, yeah, but a move nonetheless. These Bills are going to have to make a move. And it just feels like it's going to be boom or bust in the draft for that move. Man, oh man, this is interesting. Little topsy-turvy in the comment section, by the way. Half the people seem to really want Calvin Ridley if it's an option. Others saying, no, I'll pass, not worth it. Depends on what worth it would be. You got to think if Gabe Davis is getting $50 million, I don't think Calvin Ridley's. Actually, who the hell knows? If Gabe Davis is fetching $50 million, maybe Calvin Ridley can. But Calvin Ridley's off that suspension, comes in last year. It feels like he's flying under the radar a little bit. A. Katz is saying, give me Tyler Boyd, bring him home. Bring the Bills legend home. Bring Andy Dalton in, let him retire as a Buffalo Bill, and bring Tyler Boyd in. We'll complete the saga of the drought ending, right? Put the cherry on top. A couple of Bills legends, right? Bring in Andy Dalton on a one-day contract. Let him retire as a Bill. And then you bring in T. Higgins. Just stalking Twitter here. Let's see what the comment section on Adam Schefter's page has to say about $11 million. That signing for Gabe Davis, $39 million in that deal, worth up to $50 million. Everybody's just saying overpay, right? This to me is the comment right here, though, from this guy, Jeff. An upgrade over Ridley, question mark, not sure. See, that's where I'm kind of at. That's where I'm at. Is it? I'm sitting here right now as a Bills fan. We all were kind of sitting here, I feel like. And our thoughts were, give me Calvin Ridley. Going into free agency, you know you need wide receiver. Calvin Ridley, I mean, this is kind of how bare bones the free agency market currently is for the wide receiver market. We were all sitting here thinking, man, it would almost be a luxury for the Bills to be able to get out of the cap situation that they're in and find a way to bring in Calvin Ridley. And Jacksonville tells you they found Gabe Davis to be more worth it than Calvin Ridley. So now it adds an extra question mark to it. Brendan's saying bring Zay Jones home. Why not? I always found it interesting. The second Zay Jones left, it seemed like he got way better. But when Zay Jones was with Buffalo, that was the beginning, right? That was the beginning. The wide receiver one was Calvin Benjamin, for Christ's sake. I think if Zay Jones was around now, it'll probably be a little bit different. Makes you wonder. In your opinion, let me know in the comment section, in your opinion, tomorrow night's the draft, right? First round's approaching. Tomorrow night's the draft. If you had to make a bet, if you had to put your money where your mouth is, if you had to go on BetUS right now, and there was a bet out there on BetUS currently, and it says Bills draft pick position tomorrow night. Safety corner, somewhere in the secondary, or wide receiver. Where are you putting your money at? Quick word from BetUS while I'll let you think about it. You let me know in the comment section right now. Where do you think the Bills go if you had to pick between those two? Not necessarily what you would do, but what do you think Brandon Beane's going to do? Where do you think the mindset is right now at One Bills Drive as far as priority is concerned? Are they going to find a way to go wide receiver in round one, or is it the secondary that they're going to hone in on? Or I'll even give you a third option, other. Secondary, wide receiver, or other. Let me know in the comment section during a quick word from BetUS.
BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook and casino. Live betting and racebook. We're celebrating 30 years with a historic offer. A 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. Plus 10% gambler's insurance. Get started today. BetUS, where the game begins.
Speaking of BetUS, by the way, like I said at the top of the show, they are going to give you a 125% sign-up bonus, not only on your first deposit, but on your first 3 deposits up to $2,500 with the promo code JOIN125. Link is in the description below. So like I was saying, if you went on BetUS right now and there was an option to bet on it, you could pick the Bills to draft you could pick, where do you think the Bills are going to go tomorrow night if it's the draft is tomorrow night? Secondary, wide receiver, or other? Let's go to the comment section, see what you guys are saying. So right out the bat, it's immediately Scott saying wide receiver, the Thinker's saying wide receiver, Kim's saying wide receiver, Raleigh's saying wide receiver, Mike's saying wide receiver, everyone's saying wide receiver. Brendan's saying all about Josh's weapons, but now we're getting a little safety heavy. Luis is saying safety. Ryan's saying safety. Justin's thinking they can go safety in the second or third. A. Katz is going he's taking the field. He's saying, I know it isn't sexy, but go for the trenches. This is where I could see the outlier coming for these Bills. There's a lot of mock drafts out there that have the Bills going defensive line in the draft. So that could be the outlier. The way I see it, sometimes to me, the more something seems inevitable, the more it's not going to happen. That's why in my mind, I've continuously made myself think wide receiver. The more I do that, the more I feel like it's just not going to happen. The more I feel it's going to happen, the more it's not going to happen, in my opinion. That just seems to be the way it goes. Wyatt's saying wide receiver. Nick's saying safety. Jeremy's also joining the field of A-Cats in going outside of those two positions. He's thinking D-tackle. Pena's been trying to fix that D-line since he got there, and McDermott wants defense. Well, no kidding. I mean, no doubt, Jeremy. Brandon Beane, it feels like any chance he gets, he throws money or draft picks at the defensive line. And we all know Sean McDermott won't turn that down. Seems to be all that they've done. That's why, to me, you go into this draft, doesn't it just feel time? It just feels like it's time. Allocate the top of your asset pool to Josh Allen in this offense. I understand there's needs on both sides of the ball, but it just feels like we learned last year that Sean McDermott can do one hell of a job with a bare bones roster on defense. Now, look, I'm not saying I want to go out there with a roster with the likes of what they trotted out there against the Chiefs. It was ultimately the reason that they wound up losing the game. But we know that was primarily due to injury. The Bills are going to have Matt Milano back, right? That in itself, it's night and day. It's night and day, right? Terrell Bernard will be out there. I feel like the Bills can get by better with less on defense than they can on offense just because that's Sean McDermott's specialty. Sean McDermott is a defensive coach and one of the best in the league. Now, it's not often anymore that these top offensive teams have defensive coaches. You look around the league, the majority of these top offenses, the Dolphins, the Niners, the Chiefs, it's offensive coaches. It's offensive head coaches. The Bills have a defensive head coach and one of the best in the league at that. And we saw last year in the spot in which he had to prove it the most, where Sean McDermott no longer has a DC to rely on, no longer has a DC to take some heat off of his back. Because let's be honest, Leslie Frazier took a lot of heat for these Bills when things went south on the defensive side of the ball. And last year, with nobody else to take the blame, Sean McDermott steps up and in an almost impossible task at 6-6 with a depleted defensive roster, the article comes out about him. He takes a makeshift defensive roster to the playoffs and did an extraordinary job with guys off the street. I understand we're talking about building the longevity of this team, the future of this team, and both sides of the ball are in dire need of that. But it just feels like the Bills in the draft have exhausted their offense, their resources far more towards the defense than they have the offense. And it just feels like it's time the offense gets its turn. Now, we know that they did it last year with Dalton Kincaid. We know they did it the year before in the second round with James Cook. But it just feels like they really need to put their chips into the table, into the middle of the table on offense. It's just something that it feels like they have not done. Ben Torrey's saying Hunter Renfrow to be a guy for the Buffalo Bills. I actually don't mind that. Because you got to think about lower key guys. You got to think about lower key guys that could come in and make an impact. Now it makes you wonder, though, Hunter Renfrow more of a slot type receiver. I mean, I'm starting to think now, right? That seems like it's going to be more of Dalton Kincaid's role, Khalil Shakir's role. I mean, Khalil Shakir was dominating over the middle last year. I'll tell you one thing. This is going to be a massive, massive year for Dalton Kincaid. That's for damn sure. I mean, this is going to have to be a major year for Dalton Kincaid. That's what it feels like. Going to need, at the very bare minimum, another 1,000-yard year from James Cook, and we're going to need to see a significant increase from Dalton Kincaid. And we saw a very productive wide receiver one. We saw a very productive year one from Dalton Kincaid for a tight end at the rookie in a rookie spot. Very productive. But it's going to need to be significantly more, it feels like, this coming up season. Because as it stands right now, outside of you go past Stephon Diggs, and I think you go to Dalton Kincaid. I mean, don't you? I guess you could sit here and we could have the argument between Khalil Shakir and Dalton Kincaid, but I mean, it's still an argument nonetheless. I think you go into this coming season as it stands right now, Dalton Kincaid is your next best weapon. SC's coming here saying, yes, Z-Bot, McDermott should be able to do more with less, go off. I mean, that's just, I feel like we saw that on display last year. You let me know. I got over 2,000 of you in here right now live on the smoke break. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Offense or defense in the draft, what do you think is going to happen? It just feels like it has to be either secondary or wide receiver to me. I'm not going to be upset if the Bills go secondary in the first round because it is a necessity. And if they don't think that there's a wide receiver worth going after that late in the draft, if they don't think there's a guy they're going to be able to move up for in a responsible manner, and it's worth doing, I'm not sitting here saying you take wide receiver in the first round simply for the sake of taking wide receiver. Because we know anymore in the NFL, in the NFL draft, wide receivers, I mean, they're a dime a dozen, it feels like, but you just got to get lucky in landing that impact guy, right? Those impact guys are not just in the first round. They're all over the place, but you got to land them. And the only way you can do that is if you continuously throw your lottery tickets at them, and the Bills have to do that. It just feels like in this draft, bare minimum, it feels like 2-3 wide receivers. Brennan's coming here. Z, can you speak on Diggs' stigma at the end of the season? I'm going to have your explain that a little bit more to me, Brennan. Stigma. What do we mean by stigma? Tell you what, now as it stands right now as well, nothing's getting any easier for Stephon Diggs either. You know, you thought he was struggling a bit down the stretch last year. You go into this year, and what's any defense looking at right now when it comes to the Bills' passing attack? If we can take Stephon Diggs out of the game, you know, why do you think last year there were so many plays drawn up for Diggs within a 5-yard route? Melvin saying Kirk Cousins to Atlanta. Is that confirmed? Wow. I was hoping we would get that on here while we were live. Not seeing it anywhere. I'm going on the old Twitter. There it is. Yep. Breaking news here on the smoke break. Not Buffalo related, but the biggest free agent name has landed a new team. Kirk Cousins. No longer a Minnesota Viking. You like that? Atlanta Falcon. And all of a sudden, I just hit the backspace on my own stream. What the hell was that? I just hit a backspace on my own stream and it took me out. Sorry about that. Kirk Cousins with that young and talented Atlanta Falcons roster. They could be something. It felt like the Atlanta Falcons were a quarterback away, man. Desmond Ridder was not going to cut it. Kirk Cousins can sling that thing, man. Don't get it twisted. Kirk Cousins can sling that pill. I'm a huge fan of Kirk Cousins. Love him as a guy, and I think he's an incredibly underrated player. And you saw how quickly the Vikings dipped off a cliff when he got hurt. I know they had a rough start, but they were really starting to come on. And look, I know Kirk Cousins isn't Mahomes or Allen or Burrow or Lamar Jackson. I get that. But when it comes to your classic standard pocket passer that's still barely hanging on by a thread in this league, doesn't get much better than Kirk Cousins when it comes to that. And it felt like the Atlanta Falcons were a quarterback away. And they got some young studs on that offense. New head coach as well. Big move. Big move. Yeah, A-Cat saying you vanished like smoke. Thought we lost you. You did lose me for a second. I don't know what the hell I did. I don't know if you guys are a Mac user, but if you're a Mac user and you got the magic mouse, they have the hand gestures on the mouse where you can go like this, and it'll do a backspace for you or whatever. And I think I just accidentally did that while I was rummaging through Twitter. Boom. Vanished. So sorry if I wound up losing like 400 people in the stream just like that. Boom. Within a millisecond, 400 people just fell off the face of the earth with me. So this is huge. Kirk Cousins to the Atlanta Falcons. I think that it instantly makes Atlanta a playoff team. How could it not? I mean, they were close last year with a losing record. It came down to them and the Bucs. That division is ass. The NFC South is absolute ass as it stands right now, right? And Kirk Cousins automatically, instantly, he becomes the best quarterback in that division by a wide margin. Better than Bryce Young, right? Better than Baker Mayfield. And Derek Carr? Not a question. That looks like this move right here for Atlanta, that feels like an instant division winning type move. All right, let's get interesting here. Mike's saying, Zebot, I think you have a little too much wide receiver panic. If Bills draft a receiver number one, they probably have the best wide receiver tight end group in the league. Wow, that's a bold statement, Mikey. It's a bold statement. I need you to explain yourself on this one, Mike. I need you to explain yourself on how you think that would make the Bills the best wide receiver tight end group in the league. Now, I could see your argument for the tight end group. When Dawson Knox is healthy, he's still a dog. I mean, look, he's not Gronk, he's not Travis Kelce, but I still like Dawson Knox. And when healthy with Dalton Kincaid, I think there could be something there. I certainly like the tandem. But not a whole lot of pull at the wide receiver position in order to bring them all the way up to the top. Smingy's saying that he thinks the Niners do. I would tend to agree with that. The Niners wide receiver core is phenomenal. The Rams wide receiver core is phenomenal. The Bengals wide receiver core is phenomenal, but that looks like it's going to get shaken up. The Miami Dolphins wide receiver core is phenomenal. I mean, I don't think the Bills are quite close, to be 100% honest with you. I know you're factoring in the tight ends, and of course we have to. And I think that, with that, it's fair to say the Bills might have one of the better tight end locker rooms in the league. But right now at wide receiver, it's weak enough to where it's going to drag down. It drags it down. Honest to God, Mikey, I mean, I don't even think the Bills right now are sniffing. They're not even sniffing top 10, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm just thinking out loud here. Let's think of the teams right now that probably have a better wide receiver situation than the Bills. Ravens, yes. Bengals, yes. Dolphins, yes. Rams, yes. Seahawks, yes. Cowboys, yes. Niners, yes. Eagles, yes. Packers, yes. Maybe Atlanta. I don't know. When healthy, probably the Chargers. They're fringe top 10 and it's top heavy. Top heavy. It's on the outside looking in, I think, of the top 10. Brennan coming in to respond to a super chat, by the way, where he said, Z, can you speak on Diggs' stigma at the end of the season? Brennan's saying, Z, I was saying earlier, what do you think of how Diggs' energy, passion, commitment to the team was in question after the playoff loss this year? Not my opinion, just wondering what you think. I don't think the energy, passion, commitment, I don't think that was in question. I think what was in question, maybe the commitment element might be in question a little bit. Now, I think that might be a narrative that we as I don't know, it just feels like it was a media-driven narrative that all of a sudden became a reality that Stephon Diggs was a issue to some capacity. Now, of course, the media tour where he's asked constantly about him staying, and he doesn't necessarily give anybody a straight answer, and then he'll say, this is where I want to be, and then all of a sudden it gets to the point where he's just sick and tired of answering it, so you kind of read into it a little bit too much because was he just sick of answering it, or is he just sick of being here, right? That's kind of how people were viewing it. But I don't think that there's any lack of passion. I think, if anything, he might have some of the most passion on the entire football team. Right? If you were to ask me who might be one of the most passionate players on this team, I would probably say Stephon Diggs. In fact, I think it's the passion that's probably gotten him in a little bit of trouble because people view the passion as a negativity sometimes. We all remember when he was freaking out after the Bengals lost in the divisional game, right on the sideline, hands up in the air to Josh Allen. Everybody was getting all pissed. I remember coming on here and saying I loved it. Bills were getting their ass kicked that game. There was no life from that team at all. There was not a pulse from the Buffalo Bills on that Monday or on that Sunday afternoon. And when he was on the sidelines, hands up in the air, like, what the hell's going on? I loved it. So I don't think that there's anything in question right now about the passion or energy from Stephon Diggs. I think a couple of things happened at the end of the year. One, he didn't play his best. That's for sure. He didn't play his best. Two, he wasn't getting incorporated into the game plan nearly as much as he was in the beginning of the year. You go back and look at his stats in the beginning of the year, and it was night and day. They were trying to get him the ball, but when I say getting incorporated into the game plan, it didn't feel like that the game plan revolved around him. It was more revolved around just finding ways to win. And that was really Josh Allen running the ball, them running the ball, and them throwing it underneath and tic-tac-toeing the ball down the field, milking clock, and getting out of each game that they had with a narrow margin victory. They had to do it. They had to find a way to just win football games. They were playing playoff football week after week after week. But all of a sudden, you started seeing the incorporation of Stephon Diggs in the offense be slant routes, really shallow routes, screen routes. Way too many screen passes to Stephon Diggs made no sense. Not that type of receiver. And it never worked. I can't think of a single time it ever worked. So my hope is it was a makeshift offense for a couple of reasons. One, Ken Dorsey gone, Joe Brady in, and he had to just throw things together in a really urgent situation. Two, it was just a different type of football being played because of the situation that they were placed in based on the playoff situation, the playoff scenario. And they also just wound up going with what felt like a much more drive-sustaining type offense than they did this flashy going down the field type offense that we have seen from the Buffalo Bills a couple of years going into this season. So with all that factored in, everybody kind of took a hit, right? Gabe Davis obviously took a hit. There was multiple games with 0 catches. Stephon Diggs' numbers certainly took a hit, but you go and look at the numbers for the wide receivers towards the end of the year, and there was no significant standout. It was just a lot of complimentary football on the offensive side of things. Everybody getting involved. There were multiple games where Josh Allen had eight receivers catching balls, right? James Cook getting heavily involved in the pass game. James Cook being heavily involved in the overall offense itself. Josh Allen's running production went through the roof when Joe Brady took over. Go look at Josh Allen's rushing statistics after Joe Brady took over. Go look at the amount of times he ran the ball after Joe Brady took over. Now, a lot of that was because they just said, screw it. we win football games when Josh Allen plays backyard type football with his legs, and we got to win football games. Early on in the year, it felt like they had to be conservative with Josh Allen because they felt like we have to protect this guy for the future of this franchise. And that always made sense to me because when you look at guys like Cam Newton and Big Ben who played like Josh Allen and got banged up their whole career, it kind of hit the skids. And they don't want that to happen. Neither do we. So I understand in the beginning of the year, you don't necessarily want Josh Allen running head first into guys like he loves to do. But at the end of the year, it had to happen because that was the way that they were winning games. The entire offense changed this past year. And you can look at it a couple of different ways. You can look at it and you could be like, I don't love it. You could look at it and be like, I kind of like it. I think that there was something found in this Bills offense last year that I truly did like. And that was the ability to move the ball and win football games without having Josh Allen to throw the ball all over the field all game long, making play after play after play. I loved how they were able to find the ability to run the football, take underneath routes, and milk clock, own time of possession. How many games down the stretch did the Bills own time of possession? But it felt like in pursuit of that, you can't, I don't want to take one thing and lose the other. It felt like when they took that approach to the offense, they lost the explosiveness. It was almost like it was a complete one-for-one trade, right? Traded the explosive type offense completely. I don't know if conservative is the right word, but it felt far more conservative than it has been in the past. I want the middle ground where the Bills have that capability. They can do it when they need to, and they can do it every single game, really, if they want to, but also incorporate that other element that we come to love with Josh Allen. Joe Brady with a whole offseason now, of course, being fully promoted to offensive coordinator. We got to give it time. But my hopes are high. Joe Brady came in and did an extraordinary job in a very tough position. And we don't know how limited he was because of what the situation entailed for him when he took over. So we'll see how much things change. But I'll tell you what, one thing that absolutely has to change is the personnel. There has got to be some additions, or it just feels like these Bills are at a significant disadvantage. If you're just joining, got about 2,100 of you in here on the smoke break at about this just in, another banger of a move. There it is, folks. I told you earlier in the show that it was a possibility, and there it is. One of the biggest moves of free agency so far. Former Giants running back sticks in the NFC East and goes to the Philadelphia Eagles on a 3-year, $37.75 million contract worth up to $46.75 with 26 guaranteed, according to Adam Schefter. And I got to call my best buddy Nels, my college roommate, one of my groomsmen in my wedding, big Giants fan. I got to call him right now. Let's get a live reaction from a big Giants fan right now on the smoke break of a major, major move. Unbelievable move. That is crazy money. Yo, you're live on the smoke break now. We got about 2,100 in here. And I said I got to get a live reaction for the folks from a Giants fan. Saquon gone. The floor is yours. Let's hear what you got to say.
Not really much to say. I mean,
how bummed? Are you bummed?
I think I'm more pissed than bummed.
That's a bag they gave him, note. They gave him $37.75 million, 26 guaranteed at signing. Have you seen the jersey mock-ups? It doesn't even look right.
You saw it?
Yeah, Schefter's got it up. Barkley now beats the franchise tag number and has a maximum average per year salary of $15.8 million. Second highest for a running back in NFL history, Nels.
Oh,
wow.
I all I know is it's gonna be. I didn't care if he went anywhere else.
That's what's got to sting the most. That's like Stephon Diggs going to the Patriots or something.
Right. His legacy in New York is no longer a thing anymore. That's it. It's ashes now. You will never. I think someone said this a few days ago. You will never see that jersey being worn in that stadium ever again.
And here's the crazy thing. It's the only jersey anybody in that stadium owned. It was the only one worth a damn. Man, this is crazy, dude. The second overall pick. I mean, we were together for it, and it just never made sense. To think in that draft, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, and there was Barkley. That was your Josh Allen. That was your Josh Allen.
I know. And just to think about if the organization didn't mess up this bad when we signed Daniel Jones.
Yep, should have signed Barkley.
Wow. I can't believe that they were this blind. I mean, okay, yeah, he had one good season. We had one of the easiest schedules out of the whole entire NFL. Okay, let's pay the man. When we all knew the big playmaker was Saquon. Granted, he got hurt. You know, I don't know. It's just I kind of speechless right now.
Dude, I don't think I could name 4 players on the Giants offense right now.
All I gotta say is I would have continued to root for him if he went to Houston. I would have continued to root for him if he went to the Chargers. But I just, right now, as of right now, he's kind of dead to me. So.
All right, well, I'll let you collect your thoughts. I'll give you a call later, but I wanted your instant reaction. The folks appreciated it. Or at least I did.
You always do, kid.
I always do. I always bask in the misery. No.
I know.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Let me break it down for you. So that's one of my best buddies ever, Nels. Big Giants fans. So we all lived together in college, and it was iconic. I'll never forget it because when we drafted Josh Allen, I was in college, and we all lived together, and we had a big house of guys that were all different fan bases, but primarily Bills. Me, my good buddy Matt Kelly, my good buddy Nate Sawicki. We were all gigantic Bills fans. We all lived together, but we also had fans from that in our friend group that had major draft picks that year. Our good buddy Dan, a huge Jets fan. I'll never forget. If I could have this on video to share with you guys, you would never laugh so hard. The Jets picked Sam Darnold. What was it? They had the 3rd overall pick that year, I believe. The Jets, was it? I forget, but it was before the Bills, obviously. And the Jets draft Sam Darnold, and my buddy Dan, he'd never been happier in his life. And he looks at me and my Bills buddies, and he goes, "We're going to own your ass for the next whatever decade." He's just laughing in our face. And then when we picked Josh Allen, he's laughing even harder. He can't believe that he made out like a bandit. He got Sam Darnold, and we got stuck with Josh Allen. And it's funny because at the time, let's not lie to ourselves, no one knew what Josh Allen was going to be, and it just seemed like Sam Darnold at the least was going to be a serviceable player. He seemed the most NFL ready out of all of them. Boy, oh boy. So that was one. But the other, of course, we had some Giants fans in the house, including my best buddy Nels there. And that was, you got to think about it like this. This is a huge move. That was the Giants Josh Allen. Think about that draft. It was Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, of course. Right?
Buffalo Fanatics, what's going on? This is Pierre the Kingpin, and I wanted to talk to you today about Cigars International, which is the ultimate destination for premium homemade cigars. Known as the industry leader, Cigars International offers the largest selection, unbeatable prices, and a customer service experience that's second to none. Whether you're new to cigars or a seasoned vet, Cigars International makes enjoying cigars easy, approachable, and fun. Cigars International is the go-to retailer for all things cigars, with the biggest selection of premium homemade cigars available anywhere. Cigars International offers unbeatable deals and discounts, making it easy to stock up on your favorite or try something new without breaking the bank. With fast free shipping and their 100% satisfaction guarantee, you can shop with confidence knowing that Cigars International stands behind every order. They have good relationship with vendors that helps provide great low prices. Whether you're new to cigars or a seasoned pro, Cigars International makes it easy to find the right cigar with helpful guides, staff reviews, and expert advice. It's not just about cigars. Cigars International also offers a wide range of accessories and more to elevate your smoking experience. Check out the great deals every day at cigarsinternational.com. That's cigars, CIGARS, international.com. Use code FANATICS at checkout for 20% off your order of $50 or more, plus free shipping. Or visit www.cigarsinternational.com/fanatics, and the discount will automatically apply. Again, use code FANATICS at checkout for 20% off your order of $50 or more, plus free shipping. Or visit www.cigarsinternational.com/fanatics, and the discount will automatically apply.
One of the hardest parts of getting older is feeling like something's off in your body, but not knowing exactly what. It's not just aging, it's often your hormones too. When they fall out of balance, everything feels off. But here's the good news. This doesn't have to be the story of your next chapter. Hormone Harmony by Happy Mammoth is an herbal formula made with science-backed ingredients designed to fine-tune your hormones by balancing estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, and even stress hormones like cortisol. It helps with common issues such as hot flashes, poor sleep, low energy, bloating, and more. With over 40,000 reviews and a bottle sold every 24 seconds, the results speak for themselves. A survey found 86% of women lost weight, 77% saw an improved mood, and 100% felt like themselves again. Start your next chapter feeling balanced and in control. For a limited time, get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com with code NEXTCHAPTER at checkout. Visit happymammoth.com today and get your old self back naturally.
If you're a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility and your machinery isn't working right, Grainger knows you need to understand what's wrong as soon as possible. So when a conveyor motor falters, Grainger offers diagnostic tools like calibration kits and multimeters to help you identify and fix the problem. With Grainger, you can be confident you have everything you need to keep your facility running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
They needed a quarterback. Eli was on his way out. That following, or what was it, 2 years later? I was at Bills Giants in MetLife the year, I think it was Josh Allen's second year. Yes. The Bills played the Jets and the Giants back-to-back in MetLife. That was Eli's last year. In fact, it might have been one of Eli's last starts against the Bills. They might have benched him that week after, if I remember correctly. I don't know if he ever started a game again for the Giants. He might have started one more after an injury or something. I can't remember. But either way, Eli Manning was out the door. He was on his way out, and it was almost similar to this Pittsburgh Steelers situation, where it's like you don't want to offend Big Ben on his way out, so you don't draft a successor, and now look what you're doing. You got Kenny Pickett backing up Russell Wilson on a one-year deal now, and they have no idea what the hell is going on in Pittsburgh. I haven't even mentioned that today. Russell Wilson's a Pittsburgh Steeler. And the Giants did the same exact thing. And then all of a sudden, Daniel Jones out of nowhere, that's who they go and draft after they wound up drafting Saquon Barkley in the 2018 draft. And obviously Eli was on his way out. He was done the year after that. And Daniel Jones was their pick. And he wins one playoff game against the Minnesota Vikings team that was far worse than their record indicated. And they gave him a bag. Everybody but the Giants seemed to know how bad of a move that was. But you want to know where it all started for these Giants? Right here with Saquon Barkley. The downfall of the Giants started right here. And this, in my opinion, I think I've said this on here before. This, in my opinion, is where you saw the death of the top 5 running back. Because you look at this now, and it's crazy to think the Giants drafted Saquon Barkley. And mind you, I'm a huge Penn State fan. Saquon Barkley is one of the best players I've ever seen play live. Ever. One of the best players in Penn State history, no question about it. Second overall, lunacy. And even at the time, it felt crazy. With all the quarterbacks in that draft, I mean, for God's sake, Lamar Jackson fell to 32 in that draft. Josh Allen was right there for the taking. Think about it. The same exact draft where the Bills got Josh Allen, the future of the franchise, the savior of the franchise. The Giants took Saquon second overall just for him heading into his second-year deal or his second contract, just for him to wind up with your most bitter rival on a contract that makes him per year the second highest paid running back in NFL history. Man, oh man. I know we can't internalize it because we're not Giants fans, but this is a major gut punch if you are a New York Giants fan. This has got to be sickening. This is the equivalent. I mean, this isn't even the equivalent. I was saying to Nails on the phone, I was saying this would be like Stephon Diggs going to the Patriots or something. But the difference is the Bills didn't draft Stephon Diggs. I can't go to the extreme and say this is the equivalent of Josh Allen going to the Patriots because it's different. You can't compare quarterback to running back. But I think it's almost a fair comparison in the way that the Giants fan base felt about the particular player. The Giants fan base felt about Saquon the way that we Bills fans feel about Josh Allen, where you can't imagine Josh Allen playing for anybody else. That's your guy. You drafted him. You drafted him in the top 10. You drafted him to be the face of the franchise. I mean, right now, the Giants do not have a face of the franchise. Like we were just talking about. This is the only reason I always felt like the Giants were never going to let him go. This is why this is even more crazy to me. The NFL, above anything else, is a business. These owners have got to make money on a year in and year out basis. Now, it doesn't really matter anymore. No matter how bad you are, they're still making money between the TV deals and the tickets. I mean, these games still sell out no matter how bad you are. It's crazy. But you got to have a guy. If the Bills didn't have Josh Allen, I mean, think about it. Every single Giants fan had a Saquon Barkley jersey. Why? Because your next best option was a Daniel Jones jersey. And as it stands right now, that's a year away from probably finding its way into the fireplace. They don't have a face of the franchise. They don't have, I mean, when you think about, you know how Sunday Night Football, when they do the graphics for the upcoming games, and it's always the two quarterbacks standing next to each other, like, you know how it is. If tonight on a Monday Night Football game, it was the Bills and the Chiefs, the marquee, it's going to be Josh Allen and Mahomes, and on every graphic. Who's on the Giants graphic? Darren Waller? I mean, I don't even know. It's mind-blowing to me. They got nothing. The Giants got nothing. Afterlife saying probably Dable. Honest to God, if the Chiefs were playing the Giants tonight, the graphic might be Brian Dable and Andy Reid. I can't believe I'm getting as passionate about this as I am, but I kind of can because I like putting myself in the shoes of other fan bases when it comes to stuff like this. If I was a Giants fan right now, I would be in utter shambles, just sick. And look, I understand Saquon, the injury history, the money. I mean, this money the Eagles are paying, this is crazy money. Another thing, do the Eagles have a different salary cap than everybody else? I mean, where do the Eagles get this money? Feels like the Eagles have way more money than everybody else. Like, and Duhas is bringing it up. He's like, they got a $50 million contract. That's the one part you can't feel that bad about, or that you got to be a little bit happy about. Because this money's insane that the Eagles are giving them. I don't even know where the Eagles are getting this money. This is crazy. Yeah, so Tyler Marshall's coming in here, and he's saying, check the Kirk Cousins deal. And I just saw it. Yeah, this money that's being thrown around today is bonkers. Kirk Cousins just got $100 million guaranteed. Oh, the Dolphins just lost Andrew Van Ginkel. He's going to the Vikings on a $20 million deal. But anyway, here's Kirk Cousins' deal. $45 million a year. $100 million guaranteed, $180 million overall deal. That is crazy money. I wonder what the Vikings are going to do now. I thought maybe they'd try to make a move on Baker if he didn't wind up figuring it out with the Bucs, which he did. Russell Wilson's now off the table, officially signed with Pittsburgh. Strugglesville in Minnesota. They do not have a quarterback. And then it makes you wonder, Justin Jefferson ain't going to want to be there. You think Stephon Diggs wanted out in Minnesota? His situation was 10 times better than the current situation Justin Jefferson's in. Hey, Justin Jefferson, Brandon Beane's on the phone. And what do you say you take a little less? What do you say you shave a little bit off the top and you come win one with the boys? Justin Jefferson, look, we can't pay you the generational money. We can't make your grandkids rich, but hey, we can give you a ring. And that's priceless. What do you say, brother? What do you say? Come put on the royal and red for us, will you? Good God. I mean, Justin Jefferson, he's got to be sitting around in his penthouse somewhere right now saying, get me the hell out of Dodge. Send me anywhere but Minnesota. Off an injury, too, no less. Oh, my God. Kevin O'Connell, too. He's got to be just, ugh. God, I sit here. I mean, once again, you sit here and we bitch about, what are we going to do at wide receiver? Right? What are we going to do at safety? I mean, these are like first world NFL problems that we're having here in Buffalo. You imagine being a Vikings fan right now? You imagine being a Giants fan right now? I mean, good God. Do not say stuff like this. Sminatu says, Chiefs just traded for Justin Jefferson. Do not say stuff like that. That should be an instant ban. That should be an instant YouTube block for saying stuff like that. I will vomit everywhere, live on camera. $100 million guaranteed for Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs. For Kirk Cousins. So you just watch two franchises. You just watch two fan bases pretty much get the soul sucked out of their bodies. Vikings are now quarterbackless, and I understand everybody wants to shit on Kirk Cousins. Well, not today, you can't. Not today, you can't. I can't get over this Saquon deal. Nearly $50 million from an interdivision rival. That's some insane, insane shit. Patriots just signed Antonio Gibson from the Commanders. Bills are screwed. Look out, the rebuild in New England is in full force. I can't get over this Saquon move. I can't get over it. So probably the two best running backs in the free agency market are gone with new teams. Josh Jacobs to the Packers and Saquon to the Eagles. The money, though, the money to Saquon is crazy town. I mean, 3-year, $37.75 million. And where was that tweet I had a minute ago that said it was the second highest per year salary? Yeah, right here. Barkley now beats the franchise tag number and has a maximum average year salary of $15.83 million. Second highest for a running back in NFL history. I mean, they better hope that Gotti stays healthy. I guess if you're a Giants fan, the silver lining is you're not paying that dollar. You're not paying that check. I mean, that's if you're a Giants fan, that's how you got to look at it. Because I'll be honest with you, as sick as I'd be, I mean, they do not have the face of the franchise. They do not have a relevant player worth a damn, really. I mean, honest to God, the Giants are essentially a CFL team right now. Saquon was it. He was the guy. But at nearly $50 million, second highest overall salary per year in NFL history for the running back position, I think there's a reason they let him walk. I mean, that seems fair enough to me. I don't know if this is ultimately the reason why the Giants aren't bringing back Saquon Barkley. That is insane money. But I just look at it from the Giants fan base perspective. To watch your bitter rival, your most heated interdivision rival, pay your best player league history type money. I mean, that's got to be the biggest kick to the groin that you could possibly suffer. I mean, imagine you woke up tomorrow and the Patriots paid Stephon Diggs like record-setting money. And then make that about, I'd say, twice as worse because you didn't draft him. You didn't draft him second overall. And he's not the marquee face of the franchise. He's certainly one of them, but nothing's going to top the quarterback. Giants don't have a quarterback. Tell you this, though. Does this make the Eagles that much better? The Eagles already had a great running back room. They already had a great running back room. And they already had one of the best offensive lines in the league. They had the best short running game in the league with Jalen Hurts and the tush push. Does this make them that much better? I don't know. Does Saquon make the Giants that much better is the first question. And second of all, for $50 million, does he bring you $50 million worth of value? And like Jeremy's saying, like the Eagles defense last year, people don't even realize it was one of the worst in the league. The Eagles secondary might have been the worst in the National Football League. It was a joke how bad their defense was on the back end. And you're giving Saquon Barkley 50 large? $26 million off the bat. A hair shy of 16 mil a year. I don't know, man. Shamari's saying, yes, he makes him that much better. I mean, I don't know if I agree with you. I love Saquon, and I sure as hell wouldn't mind having him, but not at $50 million a year, or $50 million a contract here, $15.8 million a year, 46.75 over 3 years. I don't know, man. With the injury history to boot, Not to mention, man, the Eagles fell off of a cliff last year. They didn't make, they didn't make it past the wild card. Eagles got ran out of the building by Baker Mayfield in the first round. And that was already with A.J. Brown, right? Who was, I don't know. A lot of mouths to feed on that Philadelphia team. That is crazy money. I just want to take a look at the Eagles roster real quick because they seem loaded, and it was amazing to me last year how badly they fell down, but a lot of it had to do with how bad their defense was. Now, I believe they lost so this earlier today, they lost DeAndre Swift. So what I was saying earlier is they already had a great running back room. DeAndre Swift was phenomenal in Detroit, was with Philly last year. That felt like a huge move last year when they picked up DeAndre Swift. He signed with the Bears today. And just to give you a bit of perspective on the difference between what the Bears paid DeAndre Swift and what the Eagles are paying Saquon, DeAndre Swift also signed a 3-year deal with the Bears. His deal was for $24 million. We're talking nearly double the money. I don't know, man. Any more for a running back? Am I willing to pay double? I mean, you had DeAndre Swift in the building, and he goes to the Bears for $24 million, and you double up on that for Saquon? I don't know, man. I mean, I love Saquon. But double the money of DeAndre Swift when you already had him in the building and you got plenty of other areas to address on this football team? Dude, how about this crazy stat that Schefter just posted? If Kirk Cousins plays out all 4 years in Atlanta, he'll surpass $400 million in career earnings. Kirk Cousins. Dude, they ought to put him in Canton for that alone. Like I said, I like Kirk Cousins. I think he's an underrated quarterback. I like his game. And if the Bills were in need of a quarterback, if they were in a situation like the Falcons were in, I would love to have him. But you can't tell me that Kirk Cousins hasn't been pulling a highway robbery on the league since he entered it. It's been incredible what he's been capable of pulling off. For pretty... I don't want to say average talent, but it's certainly not above average talent. It's just on the outside of the top of the league. And he's pulling in top of the league type money. Like Rob said here, his agents should run for president. You're not kidding. I mean, nearly $500 million in career earnings for Kirk Cousins. I mean, it couldn't have happened to a better guy. Good for him. Crazy. $100 million guaranteed. I just saw a question asking where the Vikings are picking in the draft. Now you got me curious because I'm also wondering. So as it stands right now, the Vikings have the 11th overall pick in the first round. Kelly AFU asking, where's Minnesota's pick in the draft? 11. So at 11... who's going to be around? Obviously, the top guys will be off the board, or the cream of the crop will be off the board. You got to be thinking around that territory at 11. And it depends on how hungry everybody is in the top 10. I don't think J.J. McCarthy's a top 10 player. But after Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake May, that's kind of where it's the McCarthy. It's the McCarthy, Penix Jr., Bo Nix cluster there. You got to think one of those three guys is going to be a Minnesota Viking. I don't see how they couldn't be. They don't have a quarterback. So the Vikings are either going to have to give up some insane capital to try to find a way to move up if they want a Drake May, or, I mean, it's not going to happen, though. All the teams at the top need a quarterback. Patriots need a quarterback. All the teams towards the top already need a quarterback. These quarterbacks are going to be gone. I mean, Drake May is going to be gone at the very least 6 or 7, right? Because we look at the NFL, we look at the draft order right now. The number 1 pick is going to be Caleb Williams to the Bears. You got to think the Commanders, of course, are taking Jaden Daniels. Patriots are at 3. Drake May, they have to. And then, I mean, I guess it all depends. It all depends. The Cardinals aren't taking a quarterback. The Chargers aren't taking a quarterback. I guess I forget the Chargers have the 5th overall pick. I didn't realize. I don't think I realized that the Chargers have the 5th overall pick. Now, the Giants are at 6. I mean, I don't know what they do. I don't know if they go quarterback. I doubt it, but I guess maybe. The Titans certainly have to go quarterback. No, maybe they don't. I don't know. Will Levis. What do they think about Will Levis? We know the Falcons aren't going quarterback. The Bears are already going to have their quarterback at 9. If the Jets were smart, they'd consider it depending on who's around, but they won't do it. And then it's the Vikings at 11. So you got to think, if the Vikings want to, McCarthy will be there. And he's the one who's graded 4th from all of these guys, essentially, outside of the top 3 guys that are guaranteed to go in the top 10, Williams, Daniels, and May. I'm a Michael Penix Jr. guy. I understand there's a draft, or there's an injury history there. I love Michael Penix Jr. Love him. I know he's a lefty. I know he's considered to be one of those guys he's benefited from his environment. That offense for Washington was absolutely nasty. I know he gets a lot of shit for the way things kind of declined a bit in that national championship game against the stout Michigan defense, but it's one game, man. I also watched a dozen games where Michael Penix Jr. was the best player on the field. I love Michael Penix Jr. So maybe that's where the Vikings go. They're going to have to do something there. Tyler Marshall says, pull up Tankathon for list. Oh, for the other draft order. Yeah, I got it up. I would have to imagine, if I got to put my money where my mouth is, McCarthy or Penix Jr., or I guess depending on how much they love Bo Nix, I don't know. One of those 3 guys is a Minnesota Viking a month and a half from now. Just pulling up a couple quick mock drafts to see. Wow, so I just for the hell of it, I just Googled mock draft real quick just to get a sense. I clicked on the top one. This is insane to me. I would never, I don't get this. I don't understand this. But this is, speaking of Vikings, this is the first thing that came up. CBS's most updated mock draft has the Vikings trading up to 5th, taking that Chargers pick I was just talking about to draft J.J. McCarthy. There's just no way to me. There is no way to me J.J. McCarthy's top 5. Richie's saying, now this is the one name I keep forgetting about. I'm glad you brought this up, Rich. This is the one name I keep forgetting about. Maybe this is where Minnesota goes. Maybe. Somebody's got to. Somebody's got to bring in Justin Fields. Somebody. And who's going to do it? Like you said, if the Pats get Justin Fields out driving to the pit, it could be New England. I don't know why it would be, because New England's got the 3rd pick. I don't know why they wouldn't go quarterback, take the quarterback on the rookie deal and see what they got with a Drake May. They don't want to bring in a Justin Fields who's unproven and pay him a second contract type deal. The Patriots absolutely need a rookie contract type deal to rebuild this team. They can't pay Justin Fields unless Justin Fields is going to take absolutely no money. Even then, though, no money to Justin Fields is still going to be infinitely more than what they're going to have to pay a guy like Drake May. So I doubt it. I doubt we see New England go for Justin Fields. But Minnesota, honest to God, out of all these teams, that they might make the most sense. Because obviously Atlanta's off the board now. Pittsburgh's off the board now. All these other quarterback needy teams are going to draft one up towards the top. Where else do you really see him going? The rumor for a while was Atlanta. And now that's, of course, done after $100 million guaranteed given to Kirk Cousins. I don't know where Justin Fields is going to wind up now, to be honest with you. It's a great question. Kind of forgotten about Justin Fields, to be 100% honest with you. Phil's coming in here saying Jacksonville just released Zay Jones. Interesting. Jacksonville's just all over the place today. Zay Jones released by the Jacksonville Jaguars, according to my main man, Phil. Well, somebody said it in here earlier, reunite Zay Jones with Josh Allen. Hey, could there you go. Could be it. RC3 saying, I'm here late. Who did Pittsburgh grab? If you missed it, RC3, Pittsburgh signed Russell Wilson last night to a $1.5 million deal, a bare minimum base salary deal. Denver's going to have to pay the back end of his ungodly, one of the worst contracts in NFL history deals. They're going to have to pay about $38 million to Russell Wilson to not play for them this year. And Pittsburgh's picking up the extra $1.5 million to bring him in for a year, and he'll be competing with Kenny Pickett for the job. So Russell Wilson signed with the Steelers last night. All right. Another running back on the move, Aaron Jones, released from the Packers after they signed Josh Jacobs from the Raiders. So running back carousel this afternoon early on in the free agent frenzy. We had Josh Jacobs signed with the Packers. We had Saquon Barkley signed with the Philadelphia Eagles. DeAndre Swift, he signed with the Chicago Bears. And now Aaron Jones, the Packer great, has been released. So he'll be looking for a new team. I mean, there's Bills fans out there that still say, give me this running back, give me that running back. I'm fine with what we got. I gotta watch this real quick. Jenna Cottrell from 13 Wham, she posted this video. Anytime I see Deion in a video with laughing emojis, I know it's going to be good. And she said, Jenna said, Sean McDermott crashes Deion Dawkins Zoom call, and it's everything you expect. See, I didn't even read that, and that's why I'm clicking on it, because of course it's going to be what I expect. Every time I see Deion, I got to click on it. Let's take a watch.
Deion.
Who's that?
This is Sean from Orchard Park Beat. I was just calling. You describe yourself as an entertainer, and I was just wondering maybe if you could share a song with us to mark this special occasion.
You said Sean from. I'm gonna tell you, Sean. I don't know who it is, but you sound like McDermott. And if I were to say, if this is Sean, welcome, because I don't know you, but Sean, I'm going to talk to you like I'll talk to my head coach. Let's ride out. And the song of choice that I would say, it'll probably be Sweet Home Alabama, but I would probably change it to Sweet Home Buffalo. So Sweet Home Buffalo.
and maybe you could talk about the maybe the wardrobe you're wearing for this special occasion today.
Hold on. It's funny how Sean's kind of Sean McDermott's trying his best to do like a fake accent. Listen to this.
For this special occasion today.
It's hilarious.
Maybe you could talk about the maybe the wardrobe you're wearing for this special occasion today.
He sounds like your classic Buffalo caller, by the way. This is great.
for all of us?
Shirtless Snow, man. Shirtless Snow. I don't care what nobody say. This is Sean. It got to be Sean. Talk like that. I knew it. Yeah. I was about to say, man. I'm about to say, like, yeah, ain't nobody that sounds.
He shouldn't have said
like
Sean.
That.
He should have used a different name.
Man. What up?
What up, buddy? Congratulations, man.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate you. We locked and loaded, man.
I just wanted to hear a little rap, a little song that you had for us.
See, everybody wants a little bit of entertainment when the off season starts, right?
Hey, you said you're an entertainer, man, so I had to jump
for
on
sure.
and be like, hey, let's
I
hear a
got
song.
you. I got you, man.
Home,
what up, though? Sweet. Yeah, that's the remix. We need that.
I love it. Dion kills me, man. Sean should have used a different name. McDermott should have used a different name, though. That would have been funnier. Scotty's coming in here saying the Bills re-signed Cam Lewis to a 2-year deal. Yes, they did earlier today. One of the Bills' moves, in addition to, of course, extending Deion Dawkins on a $60 million 3-year contract, or 3-year extension, rather. The Bills did sign or extend Cam Lewis as well. I believe his deal was a $4 million deal for 2 years. Yep. So $4 million for 2 years for Cam Lewis. So, something they had to do. The cornerback position about as thin as paper right now. And we'll see. Right? Don't hate it at all. For that money, too? Are you kidding me? I don't hate that at all. The Thinker saying, where are you seeing this about T? I'm anticipating you're talking about T. Higgins. T. Higgins did say earlier that he is looking for a trade, I believe. Yep. So I didn't even realize they franchise tagged him. Sources say franchise tag Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins request trade from ESPN here. Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins could be on the move. Higgins has requested a trade out of Cincinnati. Sources tell Adam Schefter. Higgins said he loves Cincinnati and he hoped to be with the team long-term, but he is disappointed the team has not had any talks about long-term contract extensions since March 2023. Well, they got to pay Chase too, right? Or did they already pay Chase? Did they pay Jamar Chase yet? Can't remember. Yeah, no, they didn't. Did they? No, they didn't pay Jamar Chase yet. So no, that's why they haven't talked with T. Higgins. They got to figure out Jamar Chase. I mean, he's gonna be owed a bag, Jamar Chase. I'm reading right here, contract expectation. The projection from Spot Track for Jamar Chase is in the range of $120 million over 4 years. So yeah, T. Higgins. That's why they haven't talked yet in years about a contract. They got to find a way to come up with $120 million for Jamar Chase. But anyway, yeah, T. Higgins. Look, he kind of seeing the writing on the wall. There's no talks of a long-term deal there. He's not loving it. He wants to go somewhere where he feels like he can get that. And thing is, though, T. Higgins is gonna want some money. Let me see what Spot Track has for a T. Higgins contract projection. So I'm reading here that the projection for him would be somewhere. Let's see this. A to Z Sports has a 3-year, $70 million deal. That's crazy to think that Gabe Davis got 3 years, $50 million, and they're saying T. Higgins is looking at 3 years, $70.5 million. That seems a little light to me. I would have guessed it would have been a little bit higher. Another one I'm reading here via Sports Illustrated. This one makes a bit more sense to me. 4 years, $95 million. That makes a bit more sense to me. Add an additional year, get up into that 90 range. But the thing of it is Jamar Chase, if he's going to get $120 million, I don't know where they're getting the other damn near $100 million to pay T. Higgins. But like Kelly AFU is saying here, if they're going to trade him, it's not going to be an easy trade for the team bringing him in. I mean, they're going to have to give something pretty significant up, I would imagine, whether that's personnel or draft capital. And there's a lot of these teams that are in rebuild mode right now that have the assets to swing around. So, once again, this is the folly of a good team. The Bills aren't in that position. And the thing of it is, too, is like, even if you were to think about it, even if you were to set draft capital aside, if you were to sit here and say, oh, who could the Bills trade? First of all, why the hell would the Bengals make a trade with the Bills to make them better for Josh Allen to begin with? Be one of the last teams I'd make a deal with. If I'm the Bengals, I'd have the Chiefs and the Bills scratched off the list. There's just no way in hell I'd even consider that. I mean, those are the two teams you're dogging it out with. And the Ravens. I mean, right now, that's the AFC. Right? A healthy Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. The top of the AFC is the Bengals, the Ravens, the Bills, and the Chiefs. So those three teams, not a chance. So you're probably looking more at, like, if you're going to make a trade, then you're looking more at, like, Chicago, Washington, Arizona, the top of the draft. I mean, even New England, right? I mean, hey, go ahead. You don't want to be here? Here you go. Go to Foxborough. That's the problem, though. When you demand a high draft, when you demand a high trade when you drive a hard trade bargain and you're a good enough player to draw significant assets, where you wind up going, more than likely not going to be where you want to go. I mean, but it all depends on what you're after. If you're after the bag, well, that's why, if I'm looking at Gabe Davis' situation, that's honestly, it's a perfect situation for him. Really. Gabe Davis made out incredibly well today. He got paid a pretty damn good bag, man. $50 million for Gabe Davis. I didn't have that on my radar. $50 million for Gabe Davis, and he's going to a playoff team. I know they were down last year, but we know the Jacksonville Jaguars. Nobody wants to see Jacksonville when they're on the top of their game. And if Trevor Lawrence can really hit that next gear, he really is going to have to at some point, or it's just not going to happen. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is a damn good quarterback, but he hasn't hit that generational gear that they drafted him to be. I mean, he was the most undisputed number one draft pick of my lifetime, maybe, outside of Andrew Luck, maybe. And we'd have to go way early into my childhood to even think of another example. He has not really hit that bar yet. He's been a good quarterback. He hasn't been that. Now, LeBron's saying Jacksonville ain't scaring nobody. No, I'm not saying that. I'm talking about Gabe Davis' situation. That's a good situation. $50 million to go to a playoff team. I mean, think about these other situations for a lot of these top guys. If you want to go get paid, or if you're going to end up getting traded to get paid, you're going to wind up going to a team that's more than likely not a spot where you're going to be contending. Unless you got a team like Philadelphia, for example, who's willing to give Saquon Barkley $50 million, and I don't even know how the hell they're doing that. I'd love to see how that. What's going on with Philadelphia's cap situation? I'm looking that up real quick. I mean, I don't even know where the hell they. It doesn't mean some of these teams make no sense to me with the salary cap. Like the Eagles make no sense to me. The Niners make no sense to me. I don't understand how the hell the Niners do what they do. I don't get it. Feels like the Niners, like when they got Christian McCaffrey, I was just like, how? How does it even make any sense? All right, I don't understand this. Apparently, Philadelphia is just flush as shit. I don't get this. They're $40 million over the cap or under the cap. But Philly is $40 million under the cap. How? Oh, that would be why. I forget. Jalen Hurts' contract hasn't kicked in. Jalen Hurts' base salary going into this year is $1.1 million. He signed that major deal, but it's clearly backloaded as hell. Jalen Hurts' base salary this year is $1.1 million with a $4.6 million signing bonus. Yeah, they're all of it looks like all of Philadelphia's money is just backloaded to hell. AJ Brown, $42 million contract, and he's only making 1.1 this year. Him and Hurts are essentially on the same contract this year, just backloaded to shit. Same with Lane Johnson. Like 3 of their best offensive players are all making like $1.1 million this year. And A.J. Brown and Lane Johnson have $42 and $45 million contracts, respectively, still owed to them. And, of course, Jalen Hurts is well over $100 million. So everything's just backloaded, I guess. But as it stands right now, according to Spot Track, Philadelphia is $40 million underneath the cap. So I guess that's how they do it. Yeah, like Red, White, and Bills is saying, kicking the can is not good. I mean, they're kicking that can. They are booting that can. And like Tyler's saying, not a fan of backloaded contracts. What goes up must come down. And I mean, listen, the Bills are continuously doing that with Josh Allen, but almost only with him. I mean, I'm looking at that Philly situation. That they're doing that with Lane Johnson. They're doing that with Jalen Hurts. They're doing that with A.J. Brown. And they're looking at it like, we got to win now. They're looking back on that Super Bowl and saying, we're there. But look at, you can't weigh one year on a different scale than you're weighing another year. And in back-to-back years, I got a sample size of the Eagles essentially being a play away from winning the Super Bowl. Probably should have won that Super Bowl. If Jalen Hurts doesn't fumble, I mean, he played so well in that damn game, they should have won that freaking football game. And then the following year, you start off, what did they start off? 9-0, the Eagles? And they all of a sudden, within the span, right after they beat the Bills in overtime, they became the worst team in the league. I shit you not. They beat the Bills in overtime and instantly became the worst team in the league. I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know what the hell the Bills did to them. They immediately became awful. So there's your 2 years. So which one is it? Are you the Super Bowl team or are you towards the bottom of the league? Think about if you were to reverse the year last year. Think about if you were to start the year the way the Eagles did. I mean, everybody always thinks about things differently because the year ends a certain way. And if you still make the playoffs, you kind of forget about it more. But didn't the Eagles lose like their last 6 games or so? Imagine they started off like 0-6 coming out of the Super Bowl. So if it doesn't pay off, like you said, what goes up must come down, and it's going to come down hard if this doesn't pay off. James is saying, is T. Higgins possible? I mean, I don't think so. Because one, what are you trading? There's a couple of reasons why I would say 99% no. One, what the hell are you trading him? Two, why the hell would they trade him to Buffalo? That makes no sense to me. If they did that, that would be one of the most foolish moves I can remember. If the Eagles or if the Bengals are even considering the Chiefs, Bills, or Ravens, if they're considering trading him at all, that's lunacy to me. And then the Bills would have to pay the contract that they trade for, and he's going to be looking at anywhere from 70 to 90 million, and I don't know. So I would say 99.99% likely to be a no on that. Oh, Dolphins just lost another. Robert Hunt. A couple of big names lost from the Dolphins today. Robert Hunt gone, Van Ginkel gone, and Christian Wilkins gone. Damn. Not a great day in South Beach. That's big time money for Robert Hunt. Damn, $100 million deal to the Panthers. Tell you what, that's a great move for Carolina. They have got to give Bryce Young a fair chance. Holy shit, that poor kid. Good God Almighty. You couldn't turn the Panthers on without watching him get completely obliterated in the backfield on every snap. That poor bastard. Everybody's like, oh, Bryce Young sucks. Yeah, you know, Tom Brady would suck too if he had a half a millisecond to throw the ball like Bryce Young did, with your top receiver being an aging Adam Thielen. I mean, I hated the constant talk of like Bryce Young sucks. It's like, dude, they got nothing. They got nothing on that team. Huge move for Carolina. They absolutely needed a stud on the offensive line. That's what you got to do when you go out and get your first overall guy. That's what you got to do. You absolutely have got to overpay on the offensive line, or else you're never going to know what you have. If you draft a guy that high and you don't even give him you don't even give him the decency to have a clean pocket for the first couple of years to figure out what he is, then what was the point? I can't get over a couple of these contracts today. Pierre trolling the Dolphins. Greg Thompson trolling the Dolphins. Everyone shitting on the Dolphins. I love it. Nothing. There's no better pastime than just taking a steamer on the Dolphins. Oh my God, everybody's just Dolphins. I mean, they lost 3 starters today, right? Van Ginkel, Wilkins, and blanking. Why am I blanking on the name? I just had it. Robert Hunt. Shit. Only one thing left for the Dolphins to do, and that's give Tua a max. Just do it today. Get it over with. Give Tua a max deal today. Get it over with, and let's ride off into the sunset. What do you say, Miami? What do you say? Give Tua a max deal. Give him 10 years. Give him a Mahomes contract. Give him like 10 years, $400 million. Right all your wrongs of today. Right. Throw the Band-Aid over the wound of losing 3 starters today and give Tua the max. Top Retired's making a good point here. There's got to be a run on safety soon. I would imagine, because there is no positional group more loaded in free agency right now than the safety position. And we haven't really seen any major moves there. Let's see what TD Finns has got to say about his Dolphins getting ravished today. I don't care what anyone says. This is all Tua's fault. It will get worse before it gets better. Oh, my God. I didn't realize we were going to have a nice take a dump on the Dolphins day. Sal Capaccio earlier, by the way, as we're doing a quick Twitter scroll here. Sal Capaccio earlier with a quote from Deion Dawkins about his contract extension. I'd rather there be more money to go around for my teammates and for us to be able to win. I want us to play great ball with happy teammates. You gotta love a team player. Not that Deion isn't playing for free, though, by the way. $60 million extension today for Deion. I'm just like sitting around here, I'm waiting. I'm just like waiting for the Bills to do something. I was hoping they were going to just do a little something. Do a little something. By the way, the amount of people that like took this bait earlier was alarmingly scary. So Deion posted this earlier, clearly knowing he was on the verge of getting the extension. And he posts this troll shot of him saying it was good. It was a good while. It was good while it lasted, Buffalo. Excited for the next chapter of my football career. Wonder if it's okay to eat ranch now. If that part of it didn't trigger the sarcasm, there's no hope for you. Hope is lost for you. Nah, we doing that? Is that what we're doing? Nah, is that what we're doing? No. We doing Derrick Henry to the Chiefs? You guys better not be doing this to me again. God damn it. Spinotto got me. Well, the reason he got me is because you said that, and then Mr. Intimate in here came in here and doubled down. Listen, this is why I give it credence. I hate you guys. But when I'm seeing it, usually when I see back-to-back here, that means you guys just saw it and you're starting to send it into the chat. Screw you guys. But at the same time, I appreciate a good joke, and it's not real, so let's just laugh about it. God. Listen, I got to tell you, so I don't know how you guys can see it in the chat, but Spinotto and Mr. Intimate are back-to-back here saying, wow, Chiefs got Henry, and it's in the same minute, and Mr. Intimate saying King Henry to the Chiefs. You got me. And I got to tell you, my mind just went to Derrick Henry in a Chiefs uniform. And it got me a little sick. Think about that for a second. Here's the thing you got to remember with the Chiefs. It's not even like you look at it and be like, oh, Derrick Henry's going to come and transform. I don't want the Chiefs getting anybody. When I hear anybody gets the Chiefs, it makes me sick. I don't give a shit who it is. Spinotto's saying it was getting slow, livening it up. You're right. We needed a little party favor in there. We needed a little a troll Tootski there, if you will. But seriously though, by the way, people who were thinking I was breaking it didn't happen. They got me good. We needed it though. But the reason that I get so about it is just, I don't know how you guys are, but the thought of like the Chiefs getting anybody worth a damn makes me freaking sick. I think you guys are getting your sources, by the way, from Buck Crack Sports. The Justin Jefferson trades via Buck Crack Sports. Buck Crack Sports also broke that Derrick Henry's going to the Chiefs. And I think they're trading for Justin Jefferson, too. Can't lie, though. You guys got me a little excited about Derrick Henry going to the Chiefs because I really wanted something to bitch about. Because I'm just waiting for something else to happen here, and I was really hoping that I'm either waiting for something fun to happen with the Bills or waiting for something to really piss me off. I'll enjoy either. So the Patriots are releasing Devontae Parker, it looks like. Whatever. Don't care. I mean, you guys know how it goes in the smoke break. There's two things that happen that make a smoke break phenomenal. Either I'm really, really, really excited or I'm really, really, really pissed. Those are the two combinations for a terrific smoke break. I'm waiting for one of those two things to happen. We've already had some good shit throughout this one. I know I'm being greedy at this point, but I'm waiting for a banger. I'm waiting for something to make me like either euphorically high or basement level depressed. Up there it is. Unbelievable. Will Lutz to the Jags. Son of a bitch. You got to be Shinam. Tell you what, though, the Jags are just saying, let's let it rip today. Let's let it ride. Jaguars, according to Mike Florio, Jaguars Will Lutz 3-year deal. I mean, the Jags just signed like 5 new starters today. Bills Mafia Rochester saying the testicle grabber is out of the division. Didn't he grab Josh Allen's balls like at least twice? Like, didn't he do it like twice? At least twice? Mike saying, Zeba, you are due for a rant. I know. Go back and look at the analytics of my show. And anytime I'm the most pissed I've ever been, it's when the ratings are just off the charts. Every time. In fact, the happier I am, usually the lower it is, the worse it is. I'll tell you this: the Chiefs are going to do something that's going to piss me off. They have money in draft capital, like they have it. They're going to do something. It's just a matter of when and what. I just wonder who they're going to draft in the first round this year. That'll be an All-Pro right before the Bills draft them. You know what I mean? Who are they going to trade up for in front of the Bills this year? That's going to become an All-Pro, like McDuffie. Who's that going to be? Nick saying, should we be looking for a new kicker? No. I mean, no. You know, Tyler Bass was kicking the ball like one of the best in the league until he wasn't all of a sudden. And I think there's a reason. I saw that. It might have been, I think it might have been Sal Capaccio who I saw this from. Forgive me if it wasn't. But the Bills re-signed Matt Hawk because they feel like even though they're already set at punter, the reason for the decline in Tyler Bass's kicking is because Matt Hawk wasn't holding the ball for him anymore, and that's when he was kicking the ball the best. So they signed him to be the holder. Look, I'm not a kicker, and all I do know about kicking is it's got to be like 90% mental. All those guys, if you were in the NFL to kick the football, you are quite literally one of the best people on the planet when it comes to kicking something. Like, in order to get to that level, you have got to be able to kick a ball in the 0.01 percentile of the country. So they can clearly do it. A lot of the time, I feel like it just comes down to mental situations. And I feel like a lot of it might have to do with the comfortability level that you have. And if a holder is a major part of that, do what you got to do. You know, throw Matt Hawk a couple bucks to hold the ball if that's what Tyler Bass needs. I don't give a shit. You know, if you can get him to hold, if he can make a field goal against the Chiefs with Matt Hawk holding the ball, pay him whatever the hell he wants. I don't give a damn. This is a good question. Stat Muse is saying, pick between Russell Wilson and Kirk Cousins. I'm taking Kirk Cousins right now, all day. I'm taking Kirk. Something about Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson used to be one of my favorite players in the league, and all of a sudden, something drastically changed. The vibe around him changed. It wasn't just because he went to Denver and it didn't work out. All of a sudden, you started hearing all these things from former Seahawks teammates about how he wasn't a great leader and how he was more selfish than he let on, and no one really liked him. I couldn't believe it because I always thought he was the most likable guy. And then for Sean Payton to come in and within a half a year was like, dude, screw this guy. Like, bench this guy. Very telling. I don't know what's up, but I feel like Colin Cowherd said it the other day. He was like, there's going to be a movie about Russell Wilson called Something About Russ. And I think that was spot on. Like, what is it about the guy that changed so dramatically? Because something did. I don't know what it is. But ever since he left Seattle, it wasn't because of the play on the field. It was just more because of the vibe around him. I don't know how to describe it. And Kirk Cousins passed all the vibe checks to me. I love Kirk Cousins. I mean, if you watched Quarterback on Netflix, I don't know how you couldn't think Kirk Cousins is one of the most likable guys in sports. And I think he's playing better football than Russell Wilson is too. I love shit like this. Just a nice simple tweet. The Father, the Son. All right, we got over 3,100 of you in here right now, and I'm telling you, we need something good to happen. We need something big to happen. While we wait, by the way, anybody watch the Oscars last night? Oppenheimer, they took it to the woodshed, man. Sweep. Leading role, supporting role, director, film. Man, they swept. I loved that movie, but it's so, you know how a movie can be so long, you almost forget you forget even the little things just because of how long it was. That was Oppenheimer to me. I got to see it again. It was just so damn long. But they let it ride last night, man. They took home everything. John Cena came out ass naked. Christopher Nolan, though, man. Dude can't miss. Christopher Nolan cannot miss. He is the Josh Allen of cinema. Just bulldozing through Hollywood. Unbelievable. I love him. Love every single one of his movies. Even the early shit, man. Memento. Ugh. Memento. One of the best movies ever. Yo, let's check this out. We were just talking about Justin Fields.
Deal for Baker Mayfield, Deej. What do you think?
NFL Network talking about what they should do with
I mean, I think there's no
Justin Fields.
question about that. You know, we'll see, you know, coming off this Achilles injury where he is, but everything. But if massive amount of pumps, I wouldn't want to take that chance and trade him within the division. But that's, again, that might be a happened, right? We've seen McNabb go from the Eagles to Washington. You know, there is some precedent there, but man, that'd be tough for somebody who's that young, who's still developing and has ability. I wouldn't want to take that chance and trade him within the division. But that's again, that might be a block. We're here for 4 hours in terms of what happens with Justin Fields. I don't know. I just don't
seriously.
have any answers. I
just have no idea.
Bucky and myself talking about, hey, if there really is no market, if you're the Ravens or you're the Eagles and you've got athletic quarterbacks, you might not be able to run out there for 17 games. Man, if the price goes down, that's a heck of an insurance policy to have.
Really? So we're just talking backup at this point?
Looking at the other free agent quarterbacks that are out there. I mean, you know, you heard Tom.
I mean, you heard Pelissero. I mean, they're just. That's what we were kind of talking about earlier. I can't think of any other place that's gonna make a move on him. It could be backup territory for Justin Fields. I don't know who's making a move on him to where he's starting. That's either not drafting up in the early round or who already hasn't made a move today or yesterday. You know what's going to happen is the second I end this, the Bills are going to do something. That's what's going to happen. Bron's saying Atlanta's winning at least 10 games. I agree. Playoff team guaranteed. They're winning the NFC South, and they're a playoff team guaranteed. No question about it. They are leaps and bounds the best team in that division now. Atlanta had Baltimore, or Atlanta had Tampa Bay on the ropes last year with no quarterback. God, so how many guys did the Dolphins lose today, by the way? Here it is via Ari Merov on Twitter. Here's the list of guys the Dolphins have lost. Christian Wilkins, Robert Hunt, Xavier Howard, Andrew Van Ginkel, Brandon Jones, Jerome Baker, Emmanuel Ogba, and Keon Cross. I mean, they damn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys. Majority starters, right? Damn. What's the Dolphins cap situation looking like? Speaking of the AFC East, I just hope whoever the Patriots end up with, and it's more than likely going to be Drake May, I just hope that they absolutely blow. My internet's being terrible. The Dolphins are $21 million over the cap. So that's why, I guess. They're losing guys left and right. They're still $21 million over. It's amazing how the Bills were in the worst cap space in the league until, like, they all of a sudden weren't. I mean, I'm looking at the Dolphins right now. I'm like, oh, shit, $21 million over. The Bills were $40 million over a week ago. It's insane, all the shit that happened last week. What a crazy, crazy, crazy week that was last week. Or crazy day. What day was that? Tuesday, right? No, it was Wednesday. It was last Wednesday. Wednesday. That was an insane day. Every other 20 minutes, something was just going down. Went from the worst cap situation in the league, blink of an eye, and they're golden. Pierre's pouring one out for the Dolphins. He's saying, "What a sad day for the Finns. What a sad day for Miami." I know. My heart breaks for him, man. My heart really does break for him. There's nobody that I feel worse for on a daily basis than the Dolphins fans. They're some of the greatest people. Feel awful. What did I see earlier, by the way? I saw something about the New York. The Jets aren't really making any significant moves. I thought I saw an article about that. Thought that was interesting. Maybe it was on Twitter, but I saw something that was like, the Jets aren't going to make any significant moves in free agency. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, well, so what are they going to do? They're just going to trot out that same team this year. They're really just banking on Aaron Rodgers coming in and saving the whole thing. It's incredible to me. They're just everyone in New York just is assuming that they're going to come in with Aaron Rodgers and everything's going to be A-okay. All right, well, we're 4 hours in to free agency, and we're drying up. I got to wrap this up. I didn't even realize it's already 4 o'clock. I was really hoping that we were going to get another banger here. I was really hoping that we were going to get something fun from the Bills. I mean, we already covered, obviously, if you're just joining and missed everything that happened earlier, the Gabe Davis is gone. No longer a Buffalo Bill, signs a 3-year, $50 million deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mitch Morris was already gone last week, but he also signed with the Jaguars. Bills earlier restructured Dawson Knox. They extended Deion Dawkins. They re-signed Cam Lewis. But no additions made thus far, but the second anything happens, I promise you, we will be right back on here on the smoke break. Don't you worry. I'm waiting. I'm just waiting for one more thing to happen, or one thing to happen. The second something happens, we're back on here. And like I said, I feel like I'm going to get off because I said the second that I'm done, the Bills are going to do something. So I'm going to be done. And then hopefully I speak it into existence and the Bills actually end up going and doing something. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hop off, and that's going to put it into the universe. The Bills are going to go do something. Something you can go do, by the way, on your way out. Hit that like button. We had like over 3,000 of you in here today to this afternoon. That was killer. I loved hanging out with you in the middle of the free agent frenzy. Some craziness that happened. And I'm sure plenty more craziness around the corner, and I'll be back on here with you as soon as anything like that happens. On your way out, like button, subscribe button to stay on top of all that craziness. And also, make sure to hit that link in the description below via my friends over at BetUS. 125% sign-up bonus. Not only on your first deposit, but on your first 3 deposits. Up to $2,500 with the promo code JOIN125. Link in the description below. I'll be back on the second something else happens. So keep your eyes peeled. YouTube, Twitter, you know the deal. But for now, thanks so much for hopping on this afternoon in the middle of the free agent frenzy, and we'll be back for more craziness when it inevitably happens. All righty, folks. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Much love as always. And go Bills.
If you're a custodial supervisor at a local high school, you know that cleanliness is key, and that the best place to get cleaning supplies is from Grainger. Grainger helps you stay fully stocked on the products you trust, from paper towels and disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Plus, you can rely on Grainger for easy reordering, so you never run out of what you need. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.